Hi, everybody. Welcome in. My name is Adam, also known as at YFC Sports V12, and I'm here today, and I'm excited, guys, because this is going to be our Your Fielder's Choice YFC Prize Picks video. Now, what we want to do, guys, is as you've been on our Discords, hopefully, it is a free Discord. Our Prize Picks room has been one where we have absolutely been I feel like spot on, man. I know our NBA cheat sheet of what we've been using for Prize Picks. We have a lot of different coaches for a lot of different sports, and obviously they're out there to help you out and win money. And Prize Picks, and along with other prop betting platforms, are, I guess, the new age of fantasy. So if you're here and you're joining in and you said, man, I searched for Prize Picks in the search bar and this happened to pop up, we appreciate you guys. Be sure to give us a like and a subscribe and hit the bell for notifications, obviously. And we're going to be talking a little bit about soccer Prize Picks and MLB Prize Picks today. This is going to be a little bit of a short, concise video. We don't want to take too much of your time. We want to talk a little bit about the scoring format. But before we get into that, I do want to mention if you sign up with code YFC, you get a deposit match bonus at prizepicks.com. So they do have an app. They do have a desktop, platform that's, it's an excellent place to play. I know a lot of those guys out there, and I assure you, if you've never done prop betting before, it is quite a sweat. So we're going to jump right in, guys, today, and we're going to start with soccer. The good thing is knowing there's soccer coaches over there, or there's soccer guys that are putting out the content. They definitely love to put up a big board. It gives us a good opportunity to play a lot of different plays and look at a lot of different outlooks on different games. So I do want to mention that we're going to be talking about a few things today. Soccer is broken down, and they have a shots category, a goals category, goals allowed, goalie saves, fantasy score, and shots on target. Now, obviously, it's important anytime you're prize pick betting on props, or if you're at a casino, that you understand the game. So I want to be sure to mention they do have a scoring chart on there, so be sure to follow that. If you need to follow along, I want to give a shout out to SofaScore. I know there's a lot of other apps out there that you can go ahead and follow along with these soccer scores. SofaScore I like because obviously you can look at soccer, NHL, it keeps track of goals, gives you goal alerts and things like that. So that's a great way. That's how I follow these things. And so this is how a lot of times I dig into this data to find out where we're going to be at with these soccer Prize Picks bets. So I do want to jump right in. Prize Picks does have a format where you can flex play or you can power play it. Obviously, power playing, where you're having to get all of your picks right, gives you a much bigger payout exponentially across the board. And with the flex play, though, you can get 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5 picks out of all of your picks on there and still be able to make money on top of that. Obviously, there's a way where they split money based off of how, you get 3 out of 5 or whatever it is. So be sure to check that out at prizepicks.com. So we're going to jump right into the board, guys. Today for soccer, it is broken up. We do have a Inter Milan game. That's something that the Serie A, right now they have 3 Italian games that are up there. So I'm focused in on those because we also have a Champions League game and we have an EFL Championship game. Obviously, we can't talk about every single play on here, and we want to talk about some baseball prize picks as well that I'm going to be looking at with the research that I've done today. So going right in, let me give you the picks and kind of give you a reason why. My number one pick today on the board is going to be a fantasy score based play, and it's Cristiano Baraghi for Fiorentina. Now, Baraghi plays generally as a left wing back, a left mid. He's a possession-based player for Fiorentina. One of the reasons I like him here is because he is a set-piece player, so obviously he can do a little bit outside of just possession. He plays forward, so in soccer, obviously guys that are attacking more have a little bit more goal and assist equity. So Baraghi right now is at 4.4 on a fantasy score. This could change at any time, guys. I'm talking to you at literally 9:19 a.m. Eastern time. So this may adjust here and there, but I like to target plays that have a little bit of a wiggle room, I guess you could say. And 4.4 fantasy score means that we're going to be targeting 2 things. Number one, we're going to be targeting possession. Obviously, accurate passes is something that, in the past, it's been hard to target because in soccer, there's so many different touches, especially on a possession-heavy team. Now, the one thing I noticed about Fiorentina with them is they're extremely possession-based. their opponent today in Udinese, they're not. They're a counterattacking team. Udinese does not, even in games that they've won by multiple goals, has not had possession. They've been out-possessioned by 60%, 65%, whereas Fiorentina is a very heavily possession-based team, meaning that they're going to keep the ball a lot, meaning every time Biraghi gets an accurate pass, he gets 0.1 added to there. Now, obviously, an inaccurate pass is a negative 0.1. So more often than not, Biraghi is about in that 80, 85% range of possession. So he's going to be able to accrue passes on top of there. I think on just passes alone, he could probably surpass his fantasy score of 4.4. However, with him having a set piece role, meaning he takes corner kicks, free kicks, and whatnot, he's also going to have assist upside. He's going to have goal upside, shot upside. You get 2 points for a shot on goal on fantasy score. So there's a lot of ways for Biraghi to get there. And most importantly, he plays a full 90 minutes, which is something that I really, really want to target with these soccer players, because obviously the more that they're out there on the pitch, the more opportunity they have to be able to score and surpass this. So I'm looking at the over on Cristiano Biraghi at 4.4. Another play that I'm looking at from the same league, Serie A, from the Italian league, is it's Hakan Çalhanoğlu. I always mispronounce his name. It's a tough name. He's a Turkish player, one of the best in their their national side. He plays for Inter Milan in a kind of a mid corner, like a center attacking mid role. Right now his fantasy score is at 5.1. I also like him here because they're pretty significant favorites. I think they're a minus 300 favorite today against Bologna. The reason I don't want to target shots today necessarily with any of these guys here from the Serie A is because I feel like this game in particular is going to be very possession based as well. I looked at that score. I said 5.1. Okay, what does he need to do? Obviously getting shots on goal, obviously getting assists, obviously goal upside is going to be important here. But with soccer, I think that if you can find the possession-based team, if you can find the favorites who are going to hold the ball more, if you can find guys that have goal upside or assist upside, this is something that we want to target. So Hakan Çalhanoğlu for Inter Milan, he's a midfield player. 5.1 is his fantasy score currently. I like the over on there. I'm not actually going to tout any more particular guys from the Serie A games. I do want to talk a little bit about the Champions League slate, and then we're going to move on to MLB. But with that being said, there are some guys that I'm looking at that I'm like, okay, that these guys are a little bit too high here, and these are guys that you could target the under. I want to mention a few. Obviously, you can play them, mix and match your plays as you want. But a couple of the plays that I'm looking at here is Duvan Zapata for Atalanta. Right now, he's at 3.0 on his shots prop. Now, his striker pairing mate, Luis Muriel, Atalanta, they play a two-striker system. Obviously, Torino's not a great team. Atalanta, obviously, is going to be a decent team here. They're probably going to contain possession. They're probably going to be the favorite to win. However, with that being said, Zapata at 3.0 shots. Now, obviously, it seems kind of like a tough feat. The reason I say that is because shots is including all shots, block shots, shots on target, shots off target. So if he gets 3 or more, he's going to bust, right? And he's going to bust this play. But I think that here, he may not play a full 90 here. You might see Luis Muriel more featured here. Zapata may or may not even play. If your guys in soccer don't play, then it doesn't matter. It's called a push, and it takes your 4 pick down to a 3 pick if your guys don't start. That's the way that they score soccer. So with that being said, another one that I do kind of want to look at here, and I'm like, man, I really like this spot. It's actually from the same game. Actually, no, my apologies. Not from the same game. From the Bologna-Inter Milan game. Marco Arnautovic. Arnautovic is actually a striker forward, traditional number 9 player for Bologna. Obviously, it's a tough match. However, Bologna is at home today, facing Inter Milan, who is an amazing team right now. The Inter Milan's won 4 straight. Obviously, Bologna is going to have a tough feat for them here, but Marco Arnautovic is at 2.0 on his shots prop. Now, the reason I like this here is generally whenever you get these dogs here and they have these strikers, these traditional number 9s that love to shoot, he's going to get credit for shots, whether they're on target or off target. So really like Arnautovic here, 2.0 shots. I think he's going to be at that number or he's going to exceed that number. So for a dog here in the Serie A games, I really like Arnautovic there. But my 2 favorite picks, just to reconfirm, is Cristiano Biraghi, over 4.4 fantasy score. Hakan Çalhanoğlu for Inter Milan, over 5.1 fantasy score. We're going to move on to the Champions League games because I do want to mention that There's a lot of money out there today. If you're playing DraftKings, FanDuel, Champions League, I highly recommend you go and check those out. For Prizepicks, however, and like I said, code YFC, you're going to get your deposit bonus. I do want to mention a couple of guys here that I really like. Now, obviously, from a goal standpoint, it's tough to pick goals, right? It's extremely tough to say, okay, like this guy's going to score, this guy's not going to score, because there's so many different things that can happen. You can pick an Mohamed Salah over 0.5 goals. Well, of course, he should score. He's Salah, right? But the thing is, it's tough because it's basically a pick 'em here at this point. They're going to put these guys up on the boards that are really going to have these goal props where they're going to be like minus 120, minus 110. So it's going to be really hard to narrow down. So I'm going to stay away from goals today. I do want to talk about shots on target, because the one thing I love about Liverpool is they're extremely clinical. They're going to be able to shoot, and they're going to be able to shoot well, and they're going to be able to create chances, even here against a Villarreal team who has been very impressive. They have definitely been a team that I think that could give Liverpool some trouble here. But I think that we're probably more than likely going to see Liverpool in the final. Obviously, I just feel like Villarreal is going to be a little bit outmatched. So Diego Jota, 1.5 shots on target. Now, Jota, if you have followed him from Wolverhampton, obviously to his leap over to Liverpool, he's a completely different player. You put class around him, you give him service. This guy is very keen. He has an eye for goal. He plays well in that system. He should start today. I don't anticipate seeing Luis Diaz starting. He should probably be coming off the bench. But Diego Jota is definitely a player who's attack-minded. A Portuguese national. He just has this Cristiano type of Ronaldo type of mentality where he's very confident in himself. So he's going to be taking shots today. So I really like him here at 1.5 shots on target, which actually gives us 3 plays already for the Prizepicks play. So you can actually go in with those. But I want to give you a 4th play that I really do like here, and it is fantasy score, because I do think today one of the things that I'm expecting is Liverpool to contain a lot of possession, okay? So Liverpool being a possession-based team, they're very, very good. They're very well-rounded. They know how to attack other teams. They know how to find space. I will say, though, this last Premier League game, I was a little bit worried about them because they looked a little off. Trent Alexander-Arnold looked a little bit off. There were some passes that were a little bit errant. I don't know if they were kind of mailing that game in. They wound up showing out, obviously having an amazing finish. But with that being said here, I think that Liverpool is they're going to outclass their team today. And I really do like their possession-based stats. I love the fact that, certain players here can really excel. And I'm really on Thiago Alcantara. Thiago Alcantara right now is at 6.4 on his fantasy score. Obviously, that's not something that we're going to look at and be like, man, like, how is he going to get 6.4? He's not a goal scorer. He's not a guy that is going to, take a lot of shots. He will, though. With that being said, I do want to mention, and this is the SofaScore app that I'm looking at, which I mentioned earlier. If Alcantara starts, it looks like, if he's going to come in there, he's probably going to be playing 3/4 of the game. He's averaging right now about 4.0 accurate, 40 accurate passes a game, which gives him about 4.0 on his fantasy score already. But I do think right here that that 6.4, that number is going to elevate with their possession. So he can actually get close to that number right now with just a possession-based stats. This is probably the riskiest of the 4 plays here today, because I do think Thiago is just a player that's been just in great form. Obviously, I'm going more based off of previous thing. It is risky. So obviously 6.4 over on the fantasy score is something that, you can definitely, play it and say, okay, I think this is going to happen. But another one I like that's probably a little bit safer. It depends on what they do, but I do like Andrew Robertson as well for Liverpool. He's at 5.8 on his fantasy score. I think that Liverpool's just going to contain possession. They love to pass that ball around that back line. Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Alcantara, they're going to be Jordan Henderson. All that being said, they're going to contain the ball in the midfield. They're going to outpossession Villarreal today. All these guys, these Liverpool guys, these lines are a little bit high. A lot of people aren't going to touch them. I don't anticipate either of these lines going down or up, so we can definitely attack those there. So just to recap on soccer, my 3 favorite picks: Cristiano Baraghi over 4.4 fantasy score, Hakan Calhanoglu over 5.1 fantasy score, and Diogo Jota over 1.5 projected shots on target. Thiago Alcantara, 6.4. Andrew Robertson, 5.8. Also like the overs there on the fantasy score. They're a little bit riskier of the picks if you want to go for the big money and play 5 picks. All right. That being said, we're about a little over halfway done. We're going to talk about some MLB plays today that I really like. With that being said, MLB, I want to recommend that you stay around after. We're going to be having the MLB Hit and Run show with yours truly. We're going to be talking about the slate today. Looks like we got some cold weather, but we have no games postponement that we're worried about. So we're going to talk a little bit about what I like on Prizepicks. With that being said, one of my favorite ones to attack, I love the strikeouts prop. If we can target a good game with some good strikeouts, I think that it's definitely one that, you have a lot of these pitchers on here where you're like, man, these guys are in a really good spot. Should I attack them? Should I not? On DraftKings, which is primarily what I play for DFS, strikeouts are a big deal. So I'm always looking at strikeouts here, and I'm always saying, okay, like what is the possibility this guy can go over, under, whatever it is? There are some really good lines here that I want to attack. One of them today is Charlie Morton, my guy Pete at Pete Cole. Obviously, if you've been on this site, you've seen the guy. He's amazing, super talented here. He's a big Charlie Morton fan. He's a guy that I really like today. Now, Charlie Morton, I'm going to base this off of obviously stats, peripherally what I'm going to read, and I'm going to give you why I like this guy. Curveball Charlie is at 3.66 xFIP. So obviously, xFIP is similar to ERA. It's focused on like the events the pitcher has the most control over: strikeouts, unintentional walks, hit by pitches, home runs, and whatnot. 3.66 is excellent. Anything under a 4 is a really good xFIP. Obviously, the lower the better. He has a 28.1% K rate, meaning he's going to strike out batters at a 28% clip. Looking at the projected lineup that's going against him here, the Chicago Cubs altogether have a 25.3% strikeout rate against right-handed pitchers. Charlie Morton, somebody that I really like today from a strikeout standpoint. He has a 12.0 swinging strike rate. And on Prizepicks, he's only at 5.5 right now. So the cool thing about this is you could definitely just say, you know what, I want to play some Charlie Morton and I want to play some, some guys from the soccer board. You can mix and match on Prizepicks, which is really cool. You can mix sports up. So Charlie Morton, 5.5 strikeouts. I think that is a smash over today. Obviously, you can look at recent performance and say, well, he's doing this, that, or whatever, but it looks like an amazing spot, guys. I just think that Charlie Morton is just a much better pitcher than what maybe people have seen this season, and he's going to be in a great spot today. Another one that I like in regards to just the strikeouts prop is I do want to mention our guy, Shohei Ohtani, right? He's at 7.0 on his strikeouts. Obviously, that's a high number, 7.0 for a guy that doesn't tend to go deep into games. Obviously, he's modern day Babe Ruth, but 7.0 K rate, strikeouts on a prop is high. However, 3.57 xFIP, and this is the sample size over the last couple seasons. He's looking at a 31.1% K rate. That is extremely high. That is elite of the elite. And he's going against a Cleveland lineup here that does not really look like they're going to scare anyone. The one thing I will mention with that 31% strikeout rate, he's actually 34.6% K rate against right-handers. So that being said, he's going to be facing 5, it looks like 5 right-handers and 4 left-handers today. So he's going to have, obviously, platoon advantage there. There's some guys in here that have extremely high K rates. You can see Franmil Reyes with 3 strikeouts today if Ohtani gets through the lineup 3 times. 24.8% total K rate here against this right-handed pitcher. Elite strikeout guy. I know 7.0 seems a little bit high, but I think he struck out the Astros, my team, he over double digits amount of time. So I really do like Ohtani here. I think he's in a great spot. I think that he's somebody that I definitely want to target. Also want to mention a couple of guys from the hitting standpoint. So we have 2 pitchers, Morton, 5.5 over on strikeouts, Ohtani, 7.0 over on strikeouts. I'm in love right now with some of these bats today, guys. Even with the cold weather, I love to attack pitchers. So if I see a bad pitcher in a really, really, really just tough spot, then I want to attack him. One guy I do want to mention is Michael Wacha. Now, Michael Wacha is a reverse splits pitcher, meaning he's worse against right-handed batters. He's against the Toronto Blue Jays today. The Toronto Blue Jays are an excellent lineup. The Toronto Blue Jays have a ton of right-handed bats that are really good. And one of the guys that we like the most, Vladimir Guerrero. Bo Bichette's starting to get hot, just came off of a grand slam. George Springer's been absolutely on fire. So this top of the order, these Toronto Blue Jays, I love all these guys. And I think that you can target them in multiple different facets. Michael Wacha is a kind of a fastball cutter. He has a changeup type of pitcher. So he's not really throwing stuff that's extremely overwhelming. I will say Bo Bichette and Vlad Guerrero are probably my two favorite here. I love George Springer, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to play them in. Leadoff hitters. Leadoff hitters get the most at bats. Usually those are guys that are good at getting on base. Usually those are guys that are good at taking walks. So obviously, we want to target them in, I would say, the hits plus walks category or the total bases category. I'm looking down here to see what is offered in regards to that. It doesn't look like total bases outside of Vlad Guerrero and Bo Bichette. Either one is being offered. I like both of those guys because total bases, you get one guy hits a double, guess what? That's 2 total bases right there. They are both at 1.5 right now. So both of those Blue Jays I really like here today on total bases. If we're looking at hits plus walks and we're scrolling down, 1.5 for Vladimir Guerrero here. Josh Donaldson's at 1.5. George Springer's at 1.5. I would say from a hits plus walk standpoint, target George Springer. I think that he is just been a much better player. Even after leaving my Astros, he just seems to get it. Things are being put together. He's hitting the ball hard. He's hitting it well. He's seeing the ball well. So I really do like all of these Jays today. I would say my favorites are probably going to be Bo Bichette or Vladimir Guerrero. I'm really kind of tied up. 1.5 each on total bases. Both of those sound really good. I'll probably lean Bo Bichette here just because he's starting to get really hot. Both of their swings allow for doubles. One home run obviously puts either of these guys over. So I really like that spot today in regards to the hitters for Prizepicks. One of the other spots that I want to mention, like I said, we're here to target pitchers, right? We're here to target guys that are bad. We're here to target guys that are, kind of gas cans, is the Atlanta team. Now, with Atlanta, they're facing up against Mark Leader Jr. Now, I watched this guy pitch. He wasn't anything special to me. Obviously, with Leader is, he's just the kind of guy that, he's there. He's a decent arm. I'm sure he has a lot of talent, a lot of room to grow possibly. But I do like these Atlanta hitters today. I do love the runs plus RBIs. I feel like Atlanta is going to put up some runs today for sure. I just like this game all in general. Right now, you have Ozzie Albies at 0.5 runs plus RBIs. For me, that's almost a near lock. And then, of course, you have Austin Riley as well. He's at 0.5 runs and RBIs as well. Both of those guys there, Riley's been coming on real hot of late. And then, kind of looking there, another guy that I really want to target today is this guy has been super hot. It's been Freddy Freeman for the LA Dodgers. Right now, they're playing in the early game, so you can jump on these picks. And obviously, with Freeman, he's a guy here against Zach Gallen. I know Gallen is a reverse splits pitcher. I do like Freddie Freeman quite a bit here. The reason I like him is because from a total basis standpoint, I think 1.5 is somebody you can target. Now, he's just been super hot. It's a very risky play. So obviously, stick with your Blue Jays going over on their props. Stick with your Atlanta guys going over on their props. Freddie Freeman's more or less out there. So that being said, guys, that covers our Prizepicks for soccer and MLB. Just to recap on the pitching side, strikeouts. I love my favorite play of the day, Charlie Morton, over 5.5 strikeouts for the MLB side. Recapping my favorite play for the soccer side, Cristiano Baraghi, over 4.4 fantasy score today. Those two are locks for me. Shohei Ohtani, I love 7.0 strikeouts going over. From the hits plus walks, total bases, or runs plus RBIs, I will absolutely sign off on any of those Blue Jays. Springer, Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero, and then going to the Atlanta side, your Albies, your Austin Rileys, all these guys that are, batting towards the top of the order. I tend to pick top of the order guys here. But with the MLB show, it's coming up, guys. I appreciate you joining us. That was a Prizepicks video here at YFC. Use code YFC to sign up. Hit the like, the thumbs up. We want likes for our video, the bell for notifications, and subscribe to all of our socials, please, guys. It's been a pleasure here. Join us here in a few minutes. We're going to be back with our MLB Hit and Run show. Have a great day, guys.